In this video I will show how to do these calculations for beach shopping. We have 4 items: chair, sunglasses, ball and sandwiches. We can control the number of items by clicking on these controls here. In this column we have the price per item, and in this column the total costs per item. And down here the total costs for all the items. We can also switch the currency between Swedish crowns, euros and US dollars, and when we do so the prices are updated to the new currency, and also this cell here is updated. This is what we start with. We have the 4 items: chair, sunglasses, ball and sandwiches. We have the header here: item, number, price, X. This X will later be exchanged to US dollars, euros or Swedish crowns depending on our choice. Total for the total column, and then a total for all the items down here. First thing we will do is to insert the controls to control the number of items. We do that by going to the tag developer. If you can't see this tag, go to File, Options, Customize ribbon, and make sure developer is selected here. Press OK. So I go to tag developer and choose insert, and here I choose this control here, spin button, and I draw it right here, try to fit it within the size of a cell, and it looks like this. When I right click on this button I can choose to format control, and I get this dialog box: current value 0, minimum 0, maximum value 30,000, fine, incremental change 1, we will keep that, and here we have the most important information, cell link. I click here to choose the same cell where we have the control, and I press enter, then OK. Now when I use this control I will get a number in this cell, and I can't see it now because the number is actually under this control. If I right click on the control, then left click to get to the control and drag it away, I see my number here. So when I press the down arrow it decreases, and when I press the up arrow it increases. I will left align this cell so I can see the number with the control over. I could even center it actually. Then we will just do the same thing for sunglasses, ball and sandwiches, and I will just copy this, copy, and press Ctrl V. But then I need to right click to format the control and choose a new cell link. The new cell link should be this cell here. I press enter. And I need to center it to see the number. It works as well. I do it once again, copy, Ctrl V to paste, right click, format control, choose a new cell link, this one, press enter, OK, and center, and center this cell, check if it works, yes, and one last time, copy, and center the cell, and I'll check if this one works as well. Yes. Next thing to do is to create a control for the choice of currency. I will write up here currency. To insert the control here I go to developer again, choose insert, and this time I choose this control, combo box. I click on it and I just draw it here. It looks like this. I right click to format the control, and here I need to give 2 kinds of information. An input range, that is what will be visible in this control, the choices of currency, and a cell link. That's a cell which holds a number depending on the choice of currency. So before I select an input range, I will just cancel here and write Swedish crowns, euro and US dollars anywhere outside our calculations. Now I right click again, choose format control, and I select input range, and I will choose this range here. I press enter. And cell link, I will just choose any cell next to here, for example this one, and I press enter. OK. Now when I use the control, I get to choose among 3 currencies, the ones I have written here. If I choose Swedish crowns, we get number 1 in our cell link. If I choose euros, I get number 2, and if I choose US dollars, I get number 3. That's how this control works. And later we will link this number to the prices here. That's how they will update. In order to make the price of the items flexible to the choice of currency, I will start with just writing the price in euros somewhere out here, outside our calculations. I will later hide all this information here. So a chair, 10 euros, sunglasses, 15, a ball, 6, and a sandwich, 5 euros. And up here I will write the exchange rate. So 1 euro equals 10.7 Swedish crowns, let's say. 1 euro equals 1 euro, and 1 euro equals 1.33 US dollars, for example. To calculate the price in this column, we need to multiply the number of items with the price of each item. If the price is in euros, that's simple, it's just this cell times the cell over here. But if the currency is in US dollars or Swedish crowns, we need to multiply this number with the price in euros times the exchange rate. And this needs to be flexible using this cell link up here. So we will use if statements to make this work. This could be a bit tricky, but we do it slowly, step by step. Start with an equal sign and select this cell here. This number should be multiplied with the price. So if this cell up here equals 1, then we should have the price in Swedish crowns. Okay, in that case, take the price in euro times the exchange rate for Swedish crowns. If the cell is not 1, it could be 2 or 3, so we need a new if statement within the first if statement. If this cell equals 2, which it does when we have chosen euros, then just use this price straight off. Otherwise, if this cell is not 1 and not 2, then it has to be 3, and then we need the price in US dollars. That means this cell multiplied with the exchange rate for US dollars. I close the first if statement and I close the second if statement. And now I press enter and we see if this works. So we go down to just check one item. This looks correct. We have in euros, should be 10 euros, and that's with this exchange rate 13.3 US dollars. We switch to euros and we have exactly the same, 10, and we switch to Swedish crowns, 107, 10 times 10.7. So it looks like we got the right formula. I will just copy this formula down to the other cells in the column, but before I do that I need to lock some cells. This first number, the number of items, should be copied down. This cell should as well be copied down with the cells. When we calculate the sandwiches, we want the number of sandwiches times the price per sandwich. So this cell should follow down, but these cells up here need to be locked. We should have the same exchange rates and same cell link for all these cells. So I3 is this number here, and I press F4 once to get dollar signs on this one. And also K3 needs dollar signs. That's the cell link. Here we have K3 again. I press F4. J12 should be movable, J12 again, and I5, its exchange rate for US dollars, should be locked. These dollar signs could be inserted manually as well, by just writing dollar signs like this, one before the letter and one before the number. And I press enter. And I just drag this down and see if it works. I switch to euros and check. I go down to one of each item. Oops. And it looks alright for euros at least. Let's see for US dollars. 15 times 1.33 looks alright. 6 times 1.33 looks alright. And 5 times 1.33 looks alright as well. So it seems we've done the right calculations here. To make this cell update with the choice of currency, we will use a special way to write in the information in the cell, and we will also use an if statement in that information in the cell. I delete what was in there before, and I start with an equal sign and then citation mark. I write price. Citation mark again, space, and I add this and sign. Citation mark again, start parenthesis, citation mark, space, and this is where we will use the if statement. Now to begin with, I will just link to this cell here. So it will say euro, space, and a citation mark, end parenthesis, citation mark. I press enter and see what happens. Okay, it linked correctly to this cell, euro. If I change anything here, if I write dollars here instead, press enter, it updates to dollars here. So the updating function works correctly. We will just add the if statement later on. But I see here that I forgot a space between price and the first parenthesis. So I go in and add that, and just add it here, space, press enter. Like that. Now let's replace this cell link, which goes to euro, with a nested if statement that will give us SEK, euro, USD, depending on the choice here. And this if statement will be similar to the if statements we use down here. I write if, start parenthesis, and we will use this cell link again. If this cell equals 1, give us Swedish crowns, this one here. Otherwise, if again, if the cell link equals 2, give us euro, semicolon. If it's not 1 and not 2, it's gonna be 3, and then we want US dollars. And I close both if statements here, 2 parentheses, and I press enter. Let's see if this works. Now we have US dollars chosen here, and it says US dollars here. I switch to Swedish crowns, and it updates. And I switch to euros, and it updates. So it seems to work fine. In this column, we will calculate the total for each item, that is this cell multiplied with this cell. The number of items times the price per item. Equal sign, this cell times this cell here. And I can check that the control works, yes. And this formula is going to be the same for the whole column, so I just double click here. And I just check that the control works in each cell. Yes, yes, yes. And down here we should have the total of all the items. I insert sum function, sum equals these 4 cells, close parenthesis, and press enter. I could have done that with an automatic sum as well. Let's see what happens if I choose this one here. Suggest the whole column down here. It would give us the same, but I could adjust here so I get just these 4 cells. Now our calculations are done. We can choose currency here, and when we do so, this header updates as well as the price per item. We can choose number of items with the controls, and when we do so, the total updates as well as the total for all items down here. Last thing to do is to pimp this calculation to make it look good. I start with hiding this side information. I just give it the text color white and it disappears like that. I make the currency bold. I format the headers, I center them, I give them white text to a red, dark red background. This one maybe, and I give them borders. And I will have this cell in the same format as these cells, so I just copy this format and paste it in down here. I make total bold as well. On this cell, as well as on this cell, I take away the decimal places and I center them. I make the column to the left a bit tighter, as well as the column to the right. And I will draw borders manually. Draw a border, let's see what thickness we got. That was maybe a bit thin. Line style, weight, we take this weight here. That looks better. Something like that. And the same thing here. That was a bit high, I will erase that top border. And I will insert the shape to get the roof here and the floor down here. I will use this shape here. So it looks like this, and with this green dot I can spin it around. And with the yellow dot I can control the angle. Something like that. I want to have it black and thicker as well. Weight. That one. And I drag it up. And just expand it to fit. So I see it's not fitting correctly here. There we go. And now I just copy this, flip it around and put it down here. Control C, Control V, drag it down, flip it, and put it in place. And the very last thing, I will remove the grid lines. View, grid lines. And now I see that I forgot to put a border around this whole table. We will give it this outside border. Here we go. Here we have our finished calculation.